welcome back to the Suburban Chateau. I'm Stephanie Everett, and our video tonight is the third in a series about how to set up an antiques booth. In the first video, we looked at what makes a really great antiques booth. Eye-catching, accessible, all the things that I felt drew me in as an antiques customer, and how then the second video, we transferred that into the infrastructure of the booth. And as I said, I'm getting like a once in a lifetime bucket list opportunity to open up an antiques booth at our local antique mall in Duncansville, Pennsylvania. And then on tonight's video, I'm going to share with you how I actually staged and dressed that infrastructure to be inviting, welcoming, and some of the things I found that were a challenge, some of the things I need to yet work on as I progress with my little experiment here. But I'm going to have next 3 months to work on it. And I'm going to take you guys along on this journey, and we'll get to see what sells, what doesn't, what looks great, what I can improve upon in the antiques booth. I have never done this before. I'm not an expert. This is something I'm trying for the first time. So I'm excited to have you along, and I can't wait to share my booth as it is right now with you. Now we're going to start where we left off in last week's video. And we see that we have the basics building blocks of this booth all put together. The 2 tall corner cupboards, the sign between, the table, of course, and the bookshelf. And those are going to be the staples that stay the same throughout all seasons. And then we're going to change it with the seasons that come. Now, I decided to start out with more of a summery motif. You're definitely going to see florals decorating the booth first. So a lot of the things I have are featuring floral patterns, and that's what I decided to go with first. So of course, we started out with some floral arrangements, and you're going to see a decidedly bright color palette to start things out. So the black and white with the pop of color. And here I have my price tags. I chose a beautiful muted pink color, and I just thought that would really pop against the black and the white so that you can see the price tags. And before I left the booth, I made sure that you could see every price tag and could see the prices hanging down. That's a big bugaboo of mine when I'm antiquing, that I can't see prices. So I made sure everything was marked, and those little pink tags are sort of sitting out so you can tell exactly what the prices are. Now, one of the most important things that I wanted this booth to reflect is that it was approachable. You could come in and walk all the way to the back of the booth. I'm a curvy girl, and I don't usually feel invited to walk into antiques booth that have a big piece of furniture in front or something that I'm going to tip over or knock with my purse. So I wanted to make sure that that center of the booth was completely clear so that someone could walk in and see everything that was set up. So that was a very important part of the way I laid out the booth. And it's something that I just know from personal experience when I go antiquing. The other thing I wanted to do was make sure everything was balanced. So you'll see that the 2 corner cupboards have very similar setups. A teapot on the second shelf. The top shelf has the floral with the hand-painted crock. And all of those things, I've tried to keep them very symmetrical, just so it would draw your eye and draw you in. I'm going to check out the booth this weekend. I'm very curious if anybody's moved anything or if anyone's bought anything and it upsets the balance. So I'm sure I'll be going and checking that out as well. And then I would stop from time to time and just assess the whole thing. Did it look balanced? Now here's my wall of fashion, and I tried to select some things that were on the higher end of my used purses. I'm a teacher, so I always have lots of handbags and totes, and I just picked things that I thought were of better quality to include in my fashion wall. Now, the most tiring thing about this whole process was keeping everything organized, keeping the tags with the appropriate numbers. Everything had to have an inventory number. And I also was keeping a spreadsheet so that I know what every piece is tagged and numbered and priced at. So that was super important to keep very organized. And I think that is what tired me out during the day. I got super tired by the end of the day, and I think it was all the extra organization, which is maybe not my forte. But I was pleased that I was able to make that happen. Now, you might wonder how to select things to put into an antiques booth, and how do you go through that selection process? One of the things, and you'll notice in this rack of denim jackets, I have all these denim jackets. Most of them still have the tags on. That means I'm not wearing denim jackets. So I kind of thought those can go. There's no family heirlooms in those. And that was another big thing. I didn't want to sell anything that had meaning to me or anything that was a hand-me-down from anyone in the family. I just picked out things that along the way I had collected and I had enjoyed, but it was time for them to go to someone else. So here's a last look at the booth and everything that I set up on the second day of setup. Now, I have a feeling that I'm going to add a few more items, especially in the lower ranges. I noticed that when I finished up, there was a lot of floor space left over. So I'm hoping to find maybe a rug to put in the center of the booth, and then baskets, maybe baskets for the pillows. I am working on some of my hand-painted picnic baskets to add in as well. But I noticed that the bottom part of the booth needs a little bit more filling in. But overall, I'm very, very pleased with the setup. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed watching me set up the booth. Please comment below. I'd love to hear your input if there's anything you see that I could improve upon in my booth, or anything you might know of as an antiques dealer that I could do even better. This is something, as I said before, this is the beginning of my journey, and I know I have a lot to learn as we go through it. So, but thank you so much for joining me here at Suburban Chateau.